All right. Good morning. Yeah, I was thinking back there about how indebted I am to everyone, this clinic and everyone in it. Obviously, Bob, I GA'd for Bob and gave me a passion for it and whatnot. I can even go farther back. Shoot, I wouldn't even have finished college if it wasn't for Chris Furster. I'd be back on the ranch bucking hay and doing that shit. And then just to go around the speakers, how much I've learned from everybody over the years. My first year I came to this was 1990. I was working at California University of Pennsylvania, my first job. I got Jim Mooney's in the house here somewhere, one of my players. That's cool to see him here. And drove out here. I got the motor pool car. I was late getting to the motor pool, so they gave me an 18-passenger van. I made the trek, hit the spare tire, and I could go on and on. But coming here, and then all the things I've learned from all these guys, and then you even just look at, I remember sitting in the old Bengals, when it started, it was in the old Bengals team room, and you sat in there and watching Jim McNally just go nuts, and how many things I can't even remember what I've stolen from him and Howard Mudd, but nothing more than the passion for coaching. It's one of the things that's impressed me all the time involved with this clinic is coming around guys that are so passionate about what they do and how seriously they take our profession. And there is no doubt I'm indebted to that passion and raising the bar, essentially, about how that goes. So anyway, had to give my tip of the hat. I thank everyone here more than I get thanks. I also got came back. Blaine Sapai is in the room here somewhere. Got to coach him in college, one of my favorite players, and even Grant Williams was with me at St. Louis. So anyway, really cool deal. Really cool deal. That's what happens when you get older, I guess. So it goes on. Okay, I'm going to talk. Okay, I hope you're not sick of wide zone. Because here it comes again. Okay, and Dan and I have talked over the years, and Joe, and a lot of these things will have some carryover. Okay, hopefully I can give you some points of emphasis and some little things. I would encourage questions. Okay, I'd rather talk about what you want to know than what I know. So we'll go on. I kind of use the same format, deal more with techniques and scheme. Okay, but I'm certainly willing to go there as it goes across. So we'll talk wide zone. My experience with the wide zone, very fortunate. Got a chance to work for the Houston Texans, okay, with Gary Kubiak, and he was obviously committed to it. We brought in Alex Gibbs and worked with him for a couple of years, the guru of the wide zone. It's even funny to me, we kind of split off, okay, and then the little variations, maybe more scheme-wise than technique-wise, about how like Chris Furster took it with the Redskins and like what Dan's doing and things like that, and where we took it at Houston. But anyway, with no further ado, let's talk about the wide zone. Okay, here's two examples of wide zone plays. Okay, and some of the key things I'll start talking about. Okay, we're just like everybody else. Now we're going to take the halfback to the outside cheek of the tight end. Okay, and that's strong or weak. We call it to the ghost tight end if it's to the weak side. Okay, we want to run that cat out there. He is as important to the zone blocking scheme as the blocks. Okay, and I think it's imperative for him to know that. If there's one thing I took from Alex Gibbs is coach the frickin' running back. Okay, he is important, and everyone talks about pressing the heels. There's a million different ways to say it. Okay, but his speed, as Dan was referring to, taking the ball at the handoff and how he's staying in front of the zones, helping you block the linebackers is as important as anything. Him reading it out. Okay, our halfback is going to read from outside in. Okay, I would say if you got it, take it. Okay, at Houston we said you're going to read the D end to the D tackle, number one outside to number two. Okay, here we're saying if you got the D gap, freaking take it, okay? If you don't have the D gap, check the C gap. If you got the C gap, take it. If you don't have it, check the B gap. It's really a way to say the same thing. Okay, lost track of time there. Okay, we'll go back. Okay, but anyway, the whole thing is they're going to help you block. They're actually zoning, and that's one of the things I wanted to show with these couple clips here.
Coach, on your schematic, just a quick question, are those routes different intentionally by the back as he approaches the line?
Well, I'll have to check. Not intentional because I wasn't even aware. Oh, you're seeing, it's just because it's to the weak side and it wouldn't make sense. It's just our quality control guy drew it that way. But no, it's not intentional. Okay? If I were to pick one of these lines of the back, I would pick that one. Okay? I'm just trying to show. And then that dotted line is supposed to signify what you probably all heard, okay, is you get one cut. Plant the back's going to plant that outside foot at full speed and get vertical upfield. Okay, sure thing. Well, I just got a couple clips here I want to show that kind of demonstrate a little bit anyway about how important I think the back is. Okay, we're going to go on a scheme here. We're going to run we call it 19 weak. Okay, this is bob play, wide zone bob. Okay, as we're going across here, make sure, nope, we're not. We're just going to run Dan's play, the weak side, outside zone right here. Okay, and our target is back in here. Mike should have been the safety, but we're going to have a receiver go block him. Okay, in essence, we're putting the tackle on an island. Okay, and we want him to be incredibly aggressive. Okay, we'll get into it more later, but I'm not going to talk about drop steps with my players. Are they going to have to sometimes? Yes. But I want them thinking proactive. We are going at the defense. Well, the only way for him to do that is if, in a sense, there's some theoretical bullshit here going on now, but he and the back are zoning together. They're going to zone that defensive end together, and that's his responsibility. So when you're getting this little inside move right here, we've got some techniques that help us block him just enough. But this play is successful because the back is working in conjunction with the tackle on that play. Okay, so to me that is a key point. Okay, and then the backs start to understand it's a good deal. It was really fun this year to watch Carlos develop his outside zone scheme, just like you would see an offensive lineman kind of develop the details and the feel, understanding the principles of what's going on. Here's another play, and this is a schemed up play, game plan play. You'd have to know you were going to get this, but we're actually going to take the fullback and block, I guess against Arizona you call it the outside linebacker, but the in man on the line of scrimmage. Okay, we're going to block him with the fullback, take our tackle, jet him up so we could pin the second level right here, and we're going to pitch the ball out wide. Okay, but we even install this play, and we say these two guys are zoning him together. Okay? Otherwise, I'd never put a fullback on that 270-pound guy and say, okay, we're going to run right behind you, right? But the fullback, watch the fullback. We're going to get into these points. Check that out. Hat right on the outside pec. Okay? Or I forget how you worded it, Dan, but the same target. We're going on the outside number right there. Okay? Got his catch hand. We'll talk about how we call that a catch hand right now. Back's pressing the hole and then takes the outside edge of the hole right there. Okay, that's two guys working together to get it blocked right there. So that's a big concept from my point of view when you're getting into the wide zone thing. The back is an equal member of the blocking scheme. Okay, as you get into that thing. Okay, the next big principle we want to the criteria. I purposely put that word up there. Criteria we want to talk about is that. You need to make the defenders defend their gap. So if a defender's lined up in the B gap, okay, you have to threaten his technique and make him prove that he's going to play the B gap. Okay? If he's going to let you play in front, whether he slants, whether he plays behind, okay, to me that's all about aiming points, okay, which we'll get to in a second. Okay, but it's imperative that particularly the front side linemen are so concerned, shouldn't do that, okay? So concerned with their aiming points, okay? If you don't win the aiming point, that's what I talk about now, that you may not hit him where your aiming point is, but your intent is to go at that aiming point, and that is because you have to threaten that guy's technique. And that's where you're going to get horizontal displacement, okay, or get the thing out the front side. So keep that in mind when we're going through these principles right here, okay? And then this is the thing. Are there times you're going to have to drop step to make sure you get that aiming point? Yes. Okay, but I'm not going to talk to my players too much like that because I want to play on their side of the line of scrimmage. I know when I've gotten in trouble with wide zones, okay, you look at their feet and we're not going the right direction. We're coming off, it's typically we're coming off the ball, okay? And a lot of times it's that second step, okay, as was mentioned before, okay, but we're going to be aggressive. Okay, and I could go into a whole deal. We talk a lot about geometry, how geometry and physics are going to help us in this, and I'll touch on those things. Okay, so let's start off our front side man blocks. Okay, this is the situation where you're not zoning with it. You're one-on-one blocking a 3 technique, a 5 technique. Okay, the tight end's blocking a 9, a 7, 6 eye, it doesn't matter. In this situation, that's why they're highlighted in yellow. Okay, the left guard, left tackle, and tight end are all what we call a catch hand reach. Okay, a catch hand reach. CHR is written all over our stuff. Okay, and if you look at the right guard, and if we were running this scheme on the right here, so you got me double checking. I checked my halfback track lines up there, make sure. Okay, but right there, they'd be the right guard in the scheme on the right. The scheme's not important, but to me, this is where it all starts. If you're good at the catch and reach, particularly maybe from outside in even, you're going to probably be successful. So this is exactly how I'd start this out. If I was talking to the rookies, I would draw something up there where we got 2 blockers. I can't really tell who they are. Okay, and I've got 2 defenders lined up on them. And all I'm trying to signify here is that could be the center and guard. Okay, Dan and Joe mentioned the same thing. This could be the guard and the tackle. This could be the tackle and the tight end. Our technique doesn't change. Angles might end up being a little different, but that's going to be based on who we're blocking. Okay, our angle of departure, our aiming point is determined by where the defender is. Okay, so our aiming point, middle of the pec, play side. So we take the guy, if you were blocking me to the right, you'd aim right in the middle of my pec, right in the middle of my play side number. Just another way to say the same thing. Okay, we talk about straight lines. I am going on a straight line through my aiming point. Okay, so we're going to take our first step and we're going to talk about a lead step. Okay, and this is where if I was blocking this chair, okay, and he's in front of me, I want a lead step to that target. Is there a time he's out here and I got to go put my head on that target that step's going to get flat? Yes, it is. But I've really gotten out of doing the old drop ground to gain position. Okay, we want to meet on their side of the line of scrimmage, okay, and go like that. And it usually plays out pretty well that way. Okay, but I want to go, and it's a straight line. Okay, we'll see more in the examples on film where not being in a straight line can really mess you up. Okay, this is built over the years, but it seems like the more I do wide zone, the more emphasis I've been putting on the second step. There's a ton of, that's where your power comes from, so I'm taking that first step at my target, okay, but it's all about getting that second step on the ground at or slightly before contact. That's going to give me the power. You see all kinds of problems, okay, when that second step is still in the air when they make contact, okay? So we've been working a ton on that, okay? Okay, see, I jumped through my notes here, okay? We're going to get that down, and then our backhand is going to catch. That's where the catch hand principle comes from, okay? And what that means is I'm going to lead with my front side hand, just like Joe called it a rake, okay? We don't wind up quite as much, but we're going to come with that back. That backhand's going to trail, okay, and come right underneath. Dan talked about grabbing the ribs. We're talking about getting it right underneath the armpit, okay? And that is a key element to me to allow you to get off the ball. Is there
a special drill just for that one action, or do you incorporate it in the whole thing?
Yeah, Bob asked if there's a drill for that. We will start out, and the first day we'll already have taken our steps a lot like Dan had, okay? And then we'll fit that in there and we'll start moving. But after that, we'll do the whole block together, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But it's all part of the scheme, bringing that catch hand with us. Okay, I think the catch hand, you're talking about a very a pretty damn good guy you're catching with that catch hand. Okay? It's not like, I put Ndamukong Suh over there, or it's not like I'm going to catch him, I'm going to drag him with me. Okay? What that catch hand's going to do is it's going to really help me get on the guy. So if I was blocking Bob right here and I was going to the left, I can go like a mother at his play side, at that play side pec. Okay, middle outside pec. Okay? And we've all been there, particularly if you played. I can remember having this thought as a player. Coach says, get off the ball, and here I come. I'm going to lead step and get off the rock. And first time it works great. I roll him up. The next time I take that step, he goes slanting, I go flying on my face. What's my third rep going to look like? Like this. I'm going to feel my way into that block. So the catch hand to me is your insurance to allow you to come off the ball. Okay, so I'm going to take this step. It's going to help me in another way later. But if I were to get that inside slant, it's not so much I'm going to stop that player, okay, as it's going to pull me onto him. Okay? Because what's the back doing now? He's running outside of me, right? Just like the first clip we saw. It does not have to be pretty, okay, but it's got to pull me on it. There's a secondary benefit we'll talk that's going to come up in this next slide, okay, that's very important, but work a ton. There used to be, to your point, Bob, it used to be, man, I really worked on that thing, grabbing cloth and locking it down. And to me now, I probably de-emphasize that a little bit, as long as it's getting there and pulling me where I need to go, if that makes sense. We'll see some good and bad examples here coming up. Okay, and that's what we're talking about. So the catch hand, number one, allows me, the true catch hand, the actual catch hand, not the reach. Okay, the true catch hand allows me to come off the ball, okay, with some confidence. It's going to help me right the ship if I'm getting some slants and that type of thing. But this is actually where it started going, was by the same token, if I'm threading his gap with my angle, right, and the back's reading it right, if he slants inside, the back's going outside my block somewhere, right? Okay, well the opposite's true. If I'm going at this chair and he's deciding to play whatever gap that is outside of me, and I take a step at that chair and it expands, guess where the ball's going? Inside of me, right? So that's where the catch hand came from, is I'm going to drive, it's going to be 1, 2, it's about that third step. Okay, 3 seems to be a big number in the outside zone scheme. I'm no different. I'm talking 3s all the time. About that third step, I'm going to feel that fallback to go make the tackle, if that guy's any good. To me, that's the catch hand. It pulls me back on him, allows me to turn my block vertical, okay, and then we're going to do, I got to get control of this clicker, damn it. Okay, it allows me, lost my train of thought. Okay, he expanded, I locked him up, okay, and then we talk about what we call the moment of truth. We always keep track. Okay, I'm locked up with that defender, that ball's running by me. To me, it's your job to make that defender make one of two choices. Okay? We're fine with either one of them. Okay? If he's not a team player, he can choose to defend himself and fight my pressure. In that case, the ball gets to run right by him. Okay? We like that deal. Okay? He probably is a good team player, and he'll try and make the tackle, and our job is to make sure, even if he makes the tackle, that his hat's going back towards his goal line on the back side. And we call that the moment of truth, just as something to kind of emphasize that point right there. Okay, so now I got to get back to where I was. There we go. Okay, there he was. He was expanding right there. Okay, and then he goes. And then that was the first point I make. If he slants, it pulls you onto him. Not always perfect, but if you in the back are in conjunction, okay, it's enough to get the ball where it needs to go. Okay? So here's kind of our progression as other guys have done. Okay? In terms of what we're doing, okay? I started out, we all have this phase 2 thing that's been mentioned, okay, where we can go out with our players and work with them, okay? but we're not allowed to line anyone up across from them. So I know it's been going on for years, and you get 40 minutes of guys blocking air and footwork, which is great, okay, but it makes you be pretty creative with what you're doing. I've really come to like this, we call it the towel drill, and this is part of a whole progression. This just happens to be our catch, hand, reach portion of the progression. So what we're going to do, and in its dry sense, that's all we're doing is making sure that we're getting width on our first step, we're going forward on our first step, okay, and we should be thinking about getting our second step down right here, trying to keep our low pads. The key things, okay, as it comes across is, one is we're going to start with our feet on the line. Okay, we're going to always use this line so I can tell, me being the player, I can tell that I am gaining ground on that step. Like here, the towel's at a pretty extreme angle. We'll mess with what that angle is a little bit. Okay, it's a pretty extreme angle. Okay, he's not gaining a ton of ground. This might even look like the old school drop step, but if I look at it, his foot started here, okay, and then he's getting at least some of that paint. That is fine with me. Okay, the next big thing is that we call it, he's going to preload his stance. Okay, I don't think or they should be. There's going to be some bad examples of that. But in my stance, I should know what I need to do with my body weight, my feet, all that type of thing. So I'm going to preload my stance, which means my weight should be on the inside of my inside leg right now. Someone mentioned it. It was an aha moment for me years ago. I can't even remember exactly when it happened, but when someone said, if you want to get width on this step, you push off your backside foot. That's how you get width. And you can see it with players. And if someone tells you to step with your right foot from your stance, it's going to go back and it's going to go in. You're going to step underneath yourself. But if I preload, my weight's on the inside of that backside leg, and I push off that leg, we're going to get distance out of that thing. So that's the first thing we're looking for. Okay, the next thing is we want to stab the instep in the ground with our right foot. Okay, not just step to the instep. Everyone talks about instep, but I want to see a physical stab of that instep. Okay, I remember I learned this at this clinic years ago. Okay, I've taught it ever since. I was at California University of Pennsylvania. Okay, guy got up. I'm thinking it was you, Bob, but I don't want to be wrong. Okay, the guy stood up and he goes, test yourself. If I step like this and I step to my toe, my second step's going to just naturally crosses over. I can force myself, okay, to keep a base, but that's a mental process. We don't have time to mental process. The converse is true. If I hit my instep, it pushes my second step upfield. Okay, and I know Blaine's heard that a million times. Oh, Blaine? Okay? But that's what we're looking for. So it drives that second step upfield. Okay, the one thing I don't like about this is because there's no resistance, they have to run out of it to do full speed, and so our second step gets elongated right there. Okay, so here you can see us doing it. This is our Friday practice. Is a little lighter. We go back to the towel progression during the season. This is Friday during the season, but it's the same thing. There's pushing off the back foot. That's pretty efficient. Pretty efficient. Okay, I'm not seeing a lot of wasted motion. That's going to matter more later. Okay, stabbing that instep in the ground, there's that second step upfield. Probably a little less deliberate than we're seeing. Okay, same idea. Here's a tackle. So the first thing I look at, little wasted moment, a little wasted motion. Okay, a little inefficient getting the step started. That to me, that means I did not preload my stance well enough. Okay, but I really like the first step. Okay, there's a stab in the ground of that instep. Okay, it gets your second step going upfield. Okay, on the angle we're going to go. Okay, that we're trying to simulate with this towel. Okay, and just trying to build positive habits. So here's that was Joe Staley. Here's Zane Beatles. Same thing. That's where you see these guards. You really look for ankle flexibility. When that heel's up in the air, it's almost impossible. If he's not flexible enough to have that heel down, impossible to be real efficient with that backside foot. Okay, but he is gaining ground on that step. Okay, second step gets down. Okay, we're back to Joe. Okay, much more efficient off the inside leg. Something was probably said to him. Okay, and you can see he's actually kind of making fun of it. I remember this rep, he's kind of leaping onto that instep right there because he's sick of me saying it all the time. Okay, same thing going there. These are just various times we've done it. Okay, we don't really want them to work outside of this towel. Okay, I used to use boards, by the way, but don't like them to have to lift their feet up as much as a board would make them do. I think the towel works out better. Okay, that's it. You shouldn't need all this extra hip motion right here to get going right there. Okay, should just push out of it. Okay, there's Josh Garnett from Stanford. He does a pretty good job. Okay, hitting that instep and going, and we can go on and on. Okay, watch these forever. Okay, the other thing too, I think it's funny about it. I have a funny sled. I have a couple funny sled stories actually. We only have time for one though. We'll see. No, when I was coming up and I was a G with Bob and stuff, and it seemed like a lot of guys that came to this clinic, a lot of guys were, man, I'm done with the sled. Sled's not a human being. Okay, we're it doesn't react like you're going to do, this kind of thing. Anyway, the sled seemed to be falling out of favor with the guys in the know, and I was no different. And I got my first job, again, another nod to Cal PA. Okay, and I go up there and I go, man, no way, I don't even need that sled. Get it out of here. And took the sled out of there, and we just did footwork drills all the time, and did them over and over and over. And man, we were pretty. You'd call a zone to the right, and it looked like dance moves. Everyone stepped perfect, and we came off. We go to the left, everyone stepped perfect. Then we lined up for the first play of the first game. Okay, set hut, ball gets snapped, and first step looks pretty. Second step, we all catch our guys. They blow us back off the ball. 4-yard loss. And right there I said, I will hit the sled every day of practice the rest of my life. I don't know how funny that is. But anyway, I did get out of using the sled. I got back into it. And the one thing I like is my second step emphasis is what we're trying to do here. So we just do a little progression. We can do it on the 2-man. You'll see it on the 5-man. Okay, but we're just going to, this has the 7 and the 0. Okay, there's different things, but we're going to line up on the 7 and hit the 0. Then we're going to come back, we'll line up on the 0 and hit the 7. Okay, then I'm going to come back out and we're going to line up off the bag, so we now have to go back to that footwork we just worked on the towel. Offset left, we're going to hit the 0, and then we'll come back for the last rep and offset right and hit the 7. Okay, but hopefully we're getting what we need to do. These guys are pretty good. This is Lakin Tomlinson and Joe Staley right here. Okay, and you can see. Okay, is it the end of the world he's not stepping forward? I would talk to him in terms of lead step, but as long as we're not going backwards, I got no problem. We're getting the second step down. Both these guys do a good job of getting that second step down at or slightly before strike. Okay, we're going to have our hands tight. Okay, I'd never heard that term before, but that's what we'd call our rake, as Joe was talking about. And then we're going to work on rolling the hips through. Okay, bringing the hips and driving it up. And that's really what I want to have happen with this sled. I do not care if they move it. Okay? As a matter of fact, I tried to put enough weight on there that we don't have to move the sled very far. We're going to use it for contact, hip roll, and then extend as we drive. Okay? So we're getting everything we want out of this. Okay, really pretty good rep by both guys. Right? And I've seen benefits from that. Okay, here's two other guys. I can't even tell who they are right now, but really pretty good deal. We're a little inefficient in our movement right here. Both steps are down. Both guys are stepping forward in this case, but I see one striking with his second step on it, and I see this other guy with his second step off the ground. Okay, we will watch this. Okay, if I can catch it here, we're doing it again. Okay, if we may watch it in the film room if we get that deal. Not too far off. You can also see good hips. Okay, a little late hips, but part of that's just the making contact right there. Okay, we're still offset left, hitting to the right. Okay, and to me, both these guys are overstriding. Okay, overstriding really both steps. Okay, and so we're hitting on the rise. This is McGlinchey from Notre Dame right there. Okay, you're going to see here he's really chest blocking. Okay, we're not making contact with the flat back and then raising up like we should be. Okay, he's raising up and trying to do the old forklift deal, but you're going to see him come up again. Okay, here in a bit, and he's going to do it pretty damn well. Okay, nice job right here. Okay, I tell you, this is Najee Turan from UCLA. We got him as a free agent, and I tell you what, you can feel the power in his hips. You got a chance from that standpoint right there. Okay, but we're getting what we want to do out of this. Here we're going now. We're going to the left. Okay, but it's the same thing. Same thing. Really like Joe's footwork, hitting with the flat back. Okay, driving, rolling his hips off that second step, driving, extend. Okay, Lakin's doing a nice job as well. And that's the deal. I heard this at this clinic years ago. If you're having trouble getting your second step down, it's probably your first step's too long, right? So that's what we talk about. If you're trying to get that second step down, shorten up that first step. Okay? I don't care. I mean, I know my coach back in college used to talk about 6-inch step on your first step. Okay, I don't know if it's 6 inches, 2 inches, whatever it is, but if you're overstriding that and not getting your second step down, you're probably overstriding on your first step. Okay, this is a great shot. This is McGlinchey, okay, his second rep after a little correction, and that's one of the things he does well. Look how flat he's hitting that with his back. Okay, his foot could still be a little quicker right there, but we're going forward. We're getting that step in the ground. Okay, we're working for extension. We'll get it going. But that's a good sign when they can self-correct like that. Okay, so quickly, physical movements. Let me get to, so now we're back to the top, and this is what we mean by offset. They're going to move outside the bag, and all we're looking for now is we're back to the towel drill. Okay, making sure we've got to get some width out of this first step now to get ourselves in line to drive through the zero right here. So we're going to have our weight on our back, the inside of our back foot. Okay, push across, hit the instep, get the second step down. Okay, and there we go, we're striking. So we really haven't, to your point, I guess we're getting a little work with our catch up, but not a true catch hand drill as much as just mechanics, okay, of to and through contact right there. You see it? Okay. Show it a few times in film. We're fortunate to have all these video guys. We got more video than you could ever imagine. Okay, but you show a few of these clips in your meeting room, and you'll see this sucker improve in a hurry. Okay, if you're not getting what you want. This is a nice, here we're offset to the right, we're going to the left. So we're just doing the same thing back going the other way. Okay, really getting the same thing out of it. Here's, just threw this on here real quick. During the season, we'll do this once a week. We'll do this little sled progression once a week. We'll typically do it on the 5-man because I don't have time to take all the guys through it. Okay, but this is the exact same drill, just with 5 guys. Okay, working the 5-man sled. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, check their feet. Okay, you can see there's a drop step, and guess what? Elongated second step, and he's hitting it late, and that is one of his issues he's working on. So you can see it. You get to ride the sled. Go back to my roots. So I think we got an idea what we're doing there. Okay, so this is the drill we work to, and we'll, as mentioned to Bob, okay, and like Dan did, I mean, we'll show them one time, okay, this is where your catch hand's going to go, we're going to go, and you get the different reactions and feel, okay, he's stretching, fall back, lock it down. Okay, you start stretch, he's going inside right now, pulls you onto him. Okay, but we're going to go through this progression. At least once a week during the season, okay, every other day, okay, and we catch and reach. Yeah, I can go, we get it so we go very fast, we can get a lot of reps, but our base way to do it is we're going to get 3 reps, okay, everyone's going to get 3 reps of this drill as we rotate through, okay, one of those reps is going to be the inside move, okay. Okay, we'll start off, when we start off in training camp, I'll tell them, okay, here's the inside, we got 2, stretch, we're getting the fallback. Here's your inside move, so they know it's coming. They all cheat like mothers, okay, start aiming inside and all that. Okay, then they start to get the confidence in it, okay, and then we'll quickly move to where the defender decides which of the 3 is the inside move. Okay, and then that's when they gain some confidence in it. All right, you see, we got too much of a drop step right there, but that's what we're doing. You'll spend, if you get the most out of this drill, I mentioned, you guys probably know this without saying, you got to coach this guy as much as you're coaching this guy. Okay, so we want to get him in a normal deal. Okay, he's doing a pretty good job for us coming across the line of scrimmage. Okay, now, so here we're going on an actual catch and reach. Okay, I would like to see Joe step more of a lead step, or at least flat hitting that instep, but I do like that his second step's down. Okay, his aiming point is the outside pec. Okay, and the phrase everyone uses, but we're gonna block him on the angle we find him. Okay, and this is where I know talking to guys over the years get confused, I think. Okay, that might not be the right term, but they get confused about what that is we're not going to truly reach or hook this player. Okay, he has already shown us he's playing where? Outside. We've already threatened his gap. Okay, we've already made him play wider to play his gap. Okay, we've got what we want out of this. As a matter of fact, our cardinal rule, we'll see some film clips of it, is we never want our hips outside of his hips. Okay, if you did that without an inside move, okay, you're going to have big problems. So we're going to block on the angle we find him. Okay, push, getting width out of that first step. You can see, it's hard to see on film, but you can see that catch hand trailing slightly behind right there. That's what he's working right there, trying to get it up and in. Okay, like to see some hip roll. We're going to see a couple good hip rolls on the film right there. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now the defender, we teach the defender after 3 steps, and he's getting his ass kicked, so you're not seeing it very well right here, but after 3 steps, you're going to make a hard inside move, as if you're escaping to make the tackle right there, so we can feel it. Well, so here goes the next. Here's Lakin, better lead step. There's that second step down. Very good angle of departure. Okay, not as good a defender. Okay, but I like how he's hitting off his second step right here. He's got the tight outside hand. We can't see his catch hand. When he's got it in there, he's pressing up. And there you're seeing the little inside move where you can feel it square itself up. Okay, here's Zane Beatles. He wanted to go to the right, okay, which means he didn't line up right. Okay, now, this is something we don't like. And this is really, to me, I can't tell 100%, but I'd almost guarantee he stepped on his toe right here instead of his instep. And you see how that contracts his base right there. To me, that's stepping on your toe on your first step, as opposed to hitting your instep. Okay? When it comes underneath, you lose your power angles. I like where his hat placement is. That's the outside pec. He's trying to fit that catch hand. I'd like to see the catch hand come from behind a little bit more, give you a better catch hand, and we'll go. And then there's the inside move, and some dumb son of a buck getting in the way of the film right there. So we'll never know. Okay, so here we go. This is the same drill. This is the other side, the right side guys going now. So we're getting the same thing. Okay, going through. You can see him trying to place that catch hand. You can see the little release right there. Like to see more hip roll out of him. Okay, here's Joe. Here's our inside move deal. Sometimes we'll do it as a straight slant, but this is what you get more, particularly for tackles, is the one step up, and then he's going to try and redirect underneath. Okay, I'd like to see a better catch hand, but the reaction is good. And if I put back that same clip, we watched the first clip I showed, that's what we saw out of that. And that's good enough, okay, if we're getting on it. Okay, there's Lagan, there's the defender trying, that's always good for guards. He's a little overstride, he's a little cheating the drill, so I think he knew we were doing it that time. Okay, we're in good shape. There's the rock back in. So we're getting an idea of what we're doing right there. Okay, there's the inside move. There's a much better job of the defender rocking. That's what we want to feel on the escape. Get used to it. That's what we want to do. We want to pull ourselves back onto him. So we're keeping the force through his core. Okay, it's not truly trying to take it. It'd be great if we could take him with us. Okay, but sometimes some defenders, that's a little bit of a pipe dream right there. So let's watch some of them in action. Okay, I believe we're going to run the weak play. I thought this was a good example. Okay, if I'm watching the right guard, he's on a catch hand reach right here. Okay, I like his hat placement. Okay, his second step's a little late. Okay, and this is what I was talking about. Is he going to be able to lead step that wide three? I mean, true classic lead step? No. But I want him to get that that first step. I don't want to lose ground with it. That second step down, and that's what we're talking about. There's the expansion, 1, 2, 3. That's exactly typically when that thing's coming. 1, 2, 3. Nice job by the back. He's coming up in here. Let's look at the right tackle. Okay? Okay? As an example of how not to do it. Okay? There's the drop step. Okay? Not only a drop step, but what is he drop stepping to? His toe. Guess what's going to happen? A wild crossover. Okay? And that's the thing we would point out on film right now is, okay, your first step, you're going to have to sometimes do what you do with your first step. But his problem is his second step's not going upfield at all. His first, if I take this back, his second step's actually losing ground. Okay? Well, we could get into our physics lesson, but his force vector, okay, which is only singular in direction, is going straight to the sideline. His is going that way. We're going to have a problem. We're going to have a problem. And then there it is. He's trying to get his catch hand in there, but it's too late, and his hips are outside the defenders. Best case scenario, okay, we luck out, okay, like's happening here. Okay, worst case scenario, that's a holding penalty because we're showing the world we're dragging that guy over there. Okay, maybe even worse is we get the back hurt. Okay, we'll come across, here we go. We're actually running out of the gun here, but this is good. Here's the inside move, and that's what I was trying to emulate in our little drill. There's the one step up, back in. Okay, just like that. We're not stopping anybody, okay, but what Joe's doing is he's pulling himself back onto that guy. Okay, just like that. Okay, he pulls it on. The back is working in conjunction with him, and we end up with a good play out of that situation. We're making him pay, okay, not surviving. We're making him pay for taking that inside move on us. You're going to get more of in gun, as a matter of fact. You guys probably know that better than me. Okay, here we go. This is a good rep. I thought Joe really started to feel it right here, but to me, this is the sled right here. Okay? I take this, getting a little bit, it might be 1 inch out of his first step, but that second step's hitting on the ground. You can see the hip roll. He's blocking on the angle he found him. Okay, I can count steps. 1, 2, 3. There's him trying to escape back to the inside. Okay, and you guys have all probably seen this, but we'll make a big deal in our room. Okay, he started there. Okay, when the ball crossed the line of scrimmage, Joe has moved that guy from there to there. I mean, I'm not good at that math. I've never been good at how many yards things are on the field, unless they're going north and south. I don't know, that looks like about 5 yards. If you got 5 yards out of movement out of a defender, you're in pretty good shape. Okay, here we go. We've got the left guards on a catch hand reach right here. Okay, I think he's really gotten pretty good at these, but there's that, he is very conscious of that second step, but there it is down, okay, pressing up through. Okay, and this is keeping him attached and keeping his power angles on that cat. Okay, allow him to finish the block pretty well. Okay, let's check out left guard again. Left guard and left tackle. Like to see Joe's pads down a little bit. Okay, which we play from up for our open tackle. That's why he's in the 2-point all the time. Okay. Here, Lakin's getting fooled a little bit. You can see he's ready for the escape back inside, and the ball ends up going outside, out there. Huh? I think we're still going left. A nice job by Joe again. I love that second step, hitting down, their strike with his hands on that rake. There's that catch hand. Okay, and I'm just marking the spot. That's where Joe and that defensive end started. Was right over there. The ball's running right by him at the moment of truth on the numbers right there. So that is outstanding presence deal. His hat was never out. If I look by the result, his hat is never outside, that guy. Okay, right? He's blocking him on the angle he found him, but he's taking a good angle of departure to go through his aiming point right there. Okay, I'll move on to some other stuff. Here we're getting similar deal. Okay, here's we call it read, but it's really just a gap charge. That guy's just playing straight up. Okay, there's the catch hand, pulling us on him. Okay, so we're not ship passing the night. Another good job by this cat. Okay, by Joe on the front side, could have locked up the catch a little better. Here's the right guard, Brandon Fusco. Okay, Slippery Rock, PSAC in the house. Hope Jim's still here. Okay, there we go. Second step down, nice strike with the hands. We got the hip roll going. Okay, ends up pretty good play right there. Here's Joe again. Okay, we can watch him over and over. I'm going to. Okay, so let's get into our combinations or how we're teaching them at San Francisco. Very similar to what Dan's saying right there. Here's a couple examples. Again, I'm checking my hackback tracks. We look good. But so here we got a tackle tight end zone. Here's a guard tackle zone. Okay, we call them singles, doubles, triples, like a lot of people do. Call the backsides A, B's, and C's, like a lot of people do. I've heard several times today. Okay, so we're going to handle these zones. Okay, and again, we'll go right back to this is how the rookies hear it the first time. Okay, now we've got this is the exact same setup I had from my catch hand reach display. Okay, if you can remember that far back. But we got those same two defenders, and we got the little line showing their midline. That's the midline of that guy. Okay, but one of them backed off the ball. Now we can zone together. Okay, before we had to block them one-on-one together. Now we're going to zone them together. Okay. Now we're going to talk in terms of lead blockers and trail blockers. Okay, just like Dan mentioned, we're middle of the peck when we're by ourselves. If I have help, I'm going to the armpit. Okay, it sounds like you're a couple inches maybe wider. But we're really talking, guys. I know a lot of guys I've talked to in the past think that's some huge distance. Hopefully my wife thinks that's a huge distance. Okay? But that's not that far. Okay, it's not that far, right? It's not that far. All of a sudden you talk wide zone, guys are aiming off the framework. You don't want to do that. You're protected to the backside a little better so you can aim a little farther. Okay, so we're going to aim to the armpit. Again, that arrow line instead of the traditional blocking this guy line is there for a reason now. We're going in a straight line and we're coming off the rock with force. Okay, there it is. Straight line through target. We're going upfield. Okay, now we're going to get our backside hand inside the framework. We're not going to catch hand. Okay, it's coming up, and I'm going to steal Joe's term, rake. It's coming up in the rake. We're coming up together. We can double hand punch, okay, and help us create movement on that thing. Okay, just like it was on the catch hand reach now. Okay, and for the same reasons and others we'll get to. Okay, is the staying true to that line and not letting that line become an arc or some form of an arc. That's the best term for it. Okay, is imperative. Okay, our trail blocker. Okay, he's going to aim screws to screws. We call it those screws that hold your helmet, your face mask on the top of your helmet. Okay, are going to aim at the screws that hold the defender's screws on his helmet. That is typically a very flat angle, right there. So that blue dot is supposed to represent his screws going to the defender screws. I know when I was in college, we first learned wide zone, and these tracks should have matched. We should have been like railroad tracks, and we really worked overtakes. This is way different. Okay, yes, we're based on where the defender's lined up, okay, but we've got very different angles going on right here, okay, and that is fine. Okay, and the trail blocker is going to step to the target. So whatever angle that is, that toe should point the direction of that angle. Okay, want your feet going the same way. And I'm already going to get in their head. We're going to expect to punch this guy outside of the three technique. Just like Dan showed some really good punch outs on his tape. Okay, and we're not there yet. I'll tell you, that's where we need to improve the most. We've got a couple good ones, but becomes a very big part. So now we're back to threes. Okay, three-step read. Just like we've heard twice already, this will be the third time. How about that? Okay, we call it a tray step read. Just call it three-step read. And there's three possible reactions, but everything's going to happen off your third step. Okay, the first reaction is, right? The defender could play out. He could play out into the whatever outside gap that is, B, C, or D. Okay, he could slant inside. There's 1 and 2. Okay, or he could play read. Now, the big difference is if this chair was coming at me, okay, and I'm playing out, okay, I'm going to expand. Okay, let's shoot, we'd love that. If I'm going to slant, okay, I'm going to a gap, we're going outside of that. The issue is when this chair comes at me and I'm either on a straight charge, I don't care if you reach me, I'm just trying to be disruptive and get upfield, okay, or I'm playing traditional read, and that's why we use the term, make sure that thing's not running, okay, I think it is actually, okay, but either way, I'm going to end up on the backside shoulder of the lead blocker. Okay, whether I'm just jetting upfield if he's taking the right angle, okay, or I'm truly playing read, trying to lock out and play behind and peek the ball back there. Okay, either way, we're going to treat those the same way. Okay, as we go across, come across. So, with those in mind, those are the 3 things that could happen. I'll tell you right now, I want them thinking we're going to play the read technique with our punch out. And that's what I want the trail blocker thinking in his stance before the ball's snapped. Is you're going to be taking 3 snaps and snapping the shit out of that guy, okay, on that 3rd step. Because these other 2, you have no other choice. Okay? This should happen naturally. This is the D-line playing out. He's playing out. We're going 3 steps to target, and then the zone's over. And just so we teach, just like Dan was showing, man, those eyes go right to that backer. Okay, go right to that backer. Okay, the lead blocker, we would love to get that catch hand going because we know the ball is going inside. Okay, and that guy's going to try and fall back in the hole. And the trail blocker is going to the linebacker, and guess what block that is? It's a catch hand reach. That's what CHR is up there. So when we get to that backer, we're going to drop our hips, but we're going to have that catch hand because if he's expanding, where's the ball going? Behind, right? Okay, we don't want to miss. Okay, we could get an inside slant. That's situation number 2. Okay, to me, the key points are straight lines for the lead blocker. We don't vary, we don't carry him back to the trail blocker. Okay, we don't slow down, because what do we want the back doing if this happens? Want his ass racing outside, right? Well, guess where that guy's going? Racing outside. It'd be a hell of a deal to take it or it'd be a bad deal to not take advantage of that because we let the backer beat us to the hole. Okay, so your job now, tackles, or guards, or lead blocker, I should say, is to win on that linebacker. That is, when you get that inside slant, okay, that's what we're going to do. Picking this up correctly is imperative by the trail blocker that he is going screws to screws. If you're implementing this for the first time, the first big problem you have is the guards will not go screws to screws. They'll be going, instead of going to the screws here from the guy in the stance, they'll be going at the backside shoulder or the backside hip. Okay, and they'll try and guess. Okay, and climb to the backer too fast. You see, I saw it on Dan's tape. Okay, you see those, once they understand, they got to be there, okay, to handle this inside move. They start going to those screws. But the second point I want to make is whether he plays out or plays in, if my tracks are good, we're going to block those 2 situations. We're going to block them. This is the one that's why we got to be ready for this. Okay? If we're getting the read technique, again, whether it's a gap charge or not, but that's what I'm trying to draw there is he's ending up on the lead blocker's backside shoulder. And this is where you got to force the lead blocker now, hey, you are not running an arc around this guy now. If you go on an arc, we got big problems. Now he's going to do what we call boomerang and try and get skinny right off your ass back out to the play. Okay? I'm going to keep my straight line, block what's in front of me. Okay, here comes the guard, 1, 2, 3, or the trail blocker rather. Okay, 2-hand punch right on the near shoulder, and I want to knock him outside the midline of the lead blocker. Okay, I want to shoot. We send him rolling if we could. And then the next big thing that always comes up with these guys, they snap and turn left when they first do it, and you got to train them to snap and stay on track to that linebacker. So here's us repping that, okay? That's it. Well, pretty good by our lead blockers, going right through the target. We're getting the play out scenario. There's 1, 2, 3, zones over, eyes go up to the backer, okay? Should see a catch hand, I'd like to see more dip, okay? As it goes across, okay? Here we come. That's it. You can see the guard, or this is a center guard combination as it is. Okay, pretty good, right through the armpit. 1, 2, 3, looking right at the screws. He's playing out, zone's over, find the linebacker and climb. Okay, inside move. I don't even like that. You can see that little rock back with my weight. We should be jetting up to that linebacker right now. Okay, I don't care if they put a hand back, we just don't want to slow down. Okay, pretty good by the trail blocker. If I'm going to those screws, okay, I end up play side because we now know exactly where that ball is being run, right? It's being run outside out here. Well, should be good. Okay, there we go. We're trying to get the read, and this is the hardest one to rep. Okay, you end up showing, again, coaching these guys more than you're coaching these guys. That's a pretty good read look right there. There's the color. You see the color on that backside shoulder? Snap it over. Okay, we don't like to, well, I do like that. Okay, I really liked it that day because it was the first legitimate one we got. Okay, it was my experience in Houston with this. I don't know if you had the same deal, Dan, but it's like it was hard to get, and then one day a guy got it, and then everyone got it. You know, once they see it be successful. Okay? To me, this is waiting too long to punch. This is what happens if they're not, in my opinion, if they're not thinking about it, this is what's going to happen in their stance. I want him right now, he doesn't know what this guy's going to do, thinking he's taking 3 steps and punching that guy. Because if I run over here and it becomes a punch look, I end up making it a shove. I cover him up with my body. Okay, now I try and shove him off. I'm not near as powerful, and I'm much more susceptible to run through. Okay, I want to clear that thing as it goes on. Okay, snap that sucker out. Okay, there's a pretty good one. Okay, nice job hitting on the rise, and we're going. Huh? There we go. There's the good hands. All right, so we'll see some of these in action here. Okay, the game film, here's our double right there. Pretty good track by the dudes. Pretty good angles by both cats. You can see Joe bringing his backside hand inside the framework. 1, 2, 3, zones over. Go find the guy, we're good to go. Okay, we've seen some good ones of these, so I'll zip through them pretty quick. 1, 2, 3, zones over. This is what you got to teach those guards, particularly here. You get this wide guy out here. Okay, and they all want to take maybe 1, 2 steps and start climbing, okay? Or they cut down their angle because there's no way I'm getting out to that guy. Then the guy jumps inside. That was their job to be there. Okay, pretty good job. 1, 2, 3. All right, he's letting his hips get outside the block again. Okay, and then, I mean, I'm picking on Trent right here, but that's where he got in trouble on this block. His first 2 steps. Right there. You can see his second step. Actually, because we have the benefit of that white line right there, it's actually behind where he steps with his right foot. Okay? Luckily, the guy expanded enough, so we were able to go. Okay? I believe we're going, here we go. We're going with the tackle tight end. So he's really getting a read. I thought this was really pretty good. 1, 2, 3. I don't think he could have been wrong either way, but he's on his 3rd step, so he wasn't going to do that. And we might have been, if he was snapping like I want him to, that could have been a difficult deal on that run through. But he hit his 3rd step, zone's over. Zone's over on 3 steps. We know who we're blocking. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're getting a little bit of an inside charge, and to me this isn't very good. This is the guard cheating right here. He looked out here, this guy was outside. I should never do that with the will on the ball anyway, but he did not go screws to screws. He went screws to inside shoulder. And that's what you want to avoid. Okay, because just thinking in terms of what we're telling our lead blocker is you're gone, right? We want to take advantage of this. We're not trying to survive anything. Okay? We're trying to take advantage. Joe could have blown up the play side shoulder a little better, but to me the main problem there is the track of the trail blocker. A couple more. Okay, tackle tight end. Now we're getting an inside move, and this gives Trent some kudos here because this is really pretty good track to the screws. Okay, now we want to be outside. We know where the ball is going. Back's reading it. He's part of the zone too. Pretty good job right there. Inside move. screws to screws, straight up. Good job by the lead blocker. No hesitation. We got to go in on the backer to take advantage of this. All right? In which case we do. Okay, now we get into what punches we had, and I'm tell you right now, there are more shoves than punches, just as I was describing. Here's the center and the guard, getting a good clear out right here. Typically, this is a little different because this guy's playing behind Joe as well, so the back is getting what we call a bounce read, race that sucker outside. Okay, but typically, when you get this, you will get the run going right where the guy punched out. Okay, they're very attractive deals as opposed to letting the backer overrun us like he did on that one. Okay, we're going to see it there. There's the punch out, better angle, but that's what we're talking about. It's really a pretty good track by the tackle. Love the hips right there, but that's the color you're looking for your snap out. If you wait to see it, you'll get too close to it. Well, but that's probably our best example of how that helped us this year on that exact play right there. No, I don't, unless he goes over there to shove him. Because really it's like, I think it was Dan was talking about, if we're taking 3 steps, right? So we're turning, we could be running straight down the line of scrimmage for 3 steps, and we feel good about that. We can get back to that backer, right? But that's the problem with the shove instead of a punch, is I come over here, okay, now I'm going to go here. That's like taking that 4th, 5th step. Now I've got a big issue about where the linebacker is or what he's doing. Yeah. Better punch. This is a little better. Near punch. Right, snapping it out, and the center got beat. So we didn't get to take advantage of it. Okay, we have one more front side zone situation that's come up a lot more lately. Okay, with all the Seattle defense disciples is overtake zones. Okay, if we get the guy head up or inside, we go to a little different deal we call overtake. Okay, and all we're really doing is changing our intent. We want the lead blocker to get through. Okay, so he is going to do everything he can. At the same time, okay, he cannot turn his straight line into an arc. He's got to go through that shoulder. But his intention, he can drop that back shoulder, and we want to pop up the play side shoulder right there, okay, and get through to that linebacker. Take advantage with the back. We're going to tell the trail blocker to cheat. He was normally going to the screws. This didn't turn out as well as I'd hoped, but that blue dot moved off the screws now. It's over somewhere on the play side. I don't even know exactly what to tell him, but I say if the screws are here and you were coming this way, you're going to aim here. Okay, because we need to make sure when that lead blocker clears that you end up play side because we know where the ball's going. Okay, and then the last thing is if we can't overtake it, our intent is to overtake this situation. If we can't, trail blocker, think punch out, just what we were talking about, because that's the one you're going to get. Okay, you're not going to get the 3 steps and climb. It's going to be overtake or punch out. So that's what we're working here. All right. And he's actually using that, we call this ricochet footwork where we switch our feet. That's what he's doing. This should not be a ricochet block to us. Okay? That we ricochet when the backers play side of an inside a line down guy. He's incorrectly using that. But he is doing a good job popping the play side shoulder, and he is doing a nice job cheating the screws right there. Okay? Same idea. We got our backer behind. We got an overtake situation. Okay? That's it. Through the shoulder. Pop the shoulder up. Okay? Then go in on the backer. We always talk about this. When you get these inside alignments, regardless of where the linebacker is, you owe the trail blocker the aiming point. Okay? So even if I move this linebacker over here, moved him out to a 2-eye, okay, we tell that lead blocker, you owe the trail blocker the aiming point. So I'm going to come off. My aiming point's based on him. So I'm going to come off, hit the armpit, then I can ricochet out, okay, to go block my guy. What I don't want to do is start going, well, my backer's out here, so I'm going to leave that guy, okay? Or even sometimes I've had trouble with the backhand deal because he chases that backhand. Now we're turning the ball back so fast, okay? Then maybe not blocking the backside backers. Those are some examples. We'll see better examples here on film, getting a lot of these techniques right here. Okay? But here's an overtake situation. Overtake double right there. I don't like how his back foot's going around. This is running an arc, not a straight line, but you can tell he knows he's supposed to pop that play side shoulder up. Okay? A really good job by the trail blocker, cheating his aiming point, so we end up with play side leverage on an overtake. That is our intent. How long? Oh, wow. Okay, I'll go faster. Okay? Another overtake right here, center and guard. Good job by the guard. Blowing up the play side shoulder. Good job by the trail blocker getting across right there. Okay, I think we got the idea. Okay, I'm going to skip down. Okay, now we're talking backside. The backside zones. Okay, we call them A's, B's, and C's. Here's some pictograms. Okay, of what we're talking about on our backside. Okay, we do a lot with. We want our lead blocker. Okay, very distinct with what we're telling him. His job is to win on the linebacker. Okay, our back's reading the front side, guys, right? And if anything happens, the back's keeping over there. Can the ball come backside? Yes, it can. Okay, but I want that lead blocker to go win on the linebacker, regardless of where he is. As he goes, he's going to throw that backside, we call it a backhand punch. Straight down the line of scrimmage, just like Dan said, fingers to the sky, okay, with great force. Okay, our trail blocker needs to, this is one thing, I used to teach this, the trail blocker just came, it was like a little mini pull to cut that guy off. Okay, and that got us in trouble some. So we're trying to get as downhill now as we can, but still get our backside shoulder underneath the play side shoulder of the down lineman. Okay, is what we're trying to get done right here. And what I mean by him evaluate the lead blocker situation is, it's a very different situation for this cat, the trail blocker, when the linebacker's behind the down lineman or when he's in front. Okay, a lot of help. I can be pretty damn downhill on this one. Okay, this one I may get no help. Okay, now I may have to take that mini pull and get that back shoulder underneath right there. Okay, so that's what we're trying to show right there, the two situations. Okay, we get. This is for efficiency of footwork. This is our towel drill. Same idea. We're going to have our weight on our inside to push our left foot across. Call this guillotine. I swing this bag over so they keep their pads down. And we're working on trail blockers or single blockers. If you're not working in zone on the backside, cutting a guy off, getting that backside shoulder underneath the play side shoulder. To me, even bad athletes can do it if they're efficient with this footwork. Pushing off the back foot, getting distance, okay, and really just talking yourself out of drop stepping. Okay? Watch all these towel deals. Okay, we got better stuff to look at. Here it is happening. Okay, here's our backhand drill right here. Okay, just like Dan, it's easier for me to do it than teach them to do it. We'll do it both. The big thing I'm looking for on the backhand, okay, now I'm a lead blocker. I'm going to win on my backer. We don't even have a backer up there because I just want him getting this punch down. First step, gaining ground on that first step. Nice hard punch. I'm constantly telling them how well they punched. That was weak as shit. Or, damn, shook my molars right there. Okay, here it is. We're doing against people, and I don't think we get as good a drill as other people as when they're get a chance to punch coaches. Okay, here we're just working those combinations on the backside. All right. Pretty good deal. You see, this is one thing. He got a problem with going over the top. Now we gotta go underneath that play side shoulder. The other thing is it's a sideways punch, not a wipe. And we're too concerned with it right there. Okay, decent right here. Punching back, parallel to the line of scrimmage. Okay, not punching forward. Okay, and the trail blocker's trying to evaluate what kind of angle he needed to take. There's a pretty good backhand right there. That's what we're looking for, right on the shoulder, and that's our goal, is to pop that play side shoulder up. Okay, if you do that, we're going to win every time with our trail blocker. Okay, here's some examples of them. Right? Pretty decent. You can see intent. Pops that shoulder back, we're going to be in good shape. Okay, bad first step. But he ends up play side. We teach this. When we get to the second level, to not overrun, we're going to put our backhand right in the middle of that cat's chest to make us wheel on him. Learned that at this clinic as well. Huh? Here we go. Here's the center adjusting. We're catching this mic on the ghost right here. Okay, turning back, ends up a hell of a seal right there. Okay? Now, sometimes this happens. This film's so dark it might be hard to see, but we're getting a very, very heavy 3 technique, and the linebacker's behind. Okay? We may have to give up our backhand. Okay, and we will go to a shoulder. I hesitate to call it a flipper because I see flippers get grabbed. Okay, but we're going to tight arm flipper. It is essentially what we're doing. I'm going to drop that shoulder. I'm going to try and get the same thing done with my shoulder. Get my backside shoulder underneath his play side shoulder and pop it up for that trail blocker. He's doing a really nice job of what I'm talking about right there. Popping that shoulder up becomes a very consistently good block if the lead blocker's good. I know when I first started doing these, I put all the pressure on that guy, right? Man, if he can get that cutoff, okay? But what I found is if these guys get good, they'll both be good. And consistent success relies on the lead blocker as much and probably more than the trail blocker. I don't know what we're looking at there. Got a really good backhand right here. See that cat's shoulders pop up, and you can see our tackle does not have to take that big swooping angle to cut him off right there. Okay, downhill through the target, okay, ends up, that's where we're going to take the ball in this particular play. And it's a legitimate deal. We're not overshooting that thing. All right, here we go. Here's the A block right there, okay? Watch what the guard's doing, the trail blocker. Taking his angle across, evaluated, see him drop that back shoulder right there. That's what keeps him from getting washed into the play. If his shoulder gets underneath, now we can stop that player and get our force going vertically right there. Okay, really pretty good job. Pretty good job by that cat right there. Lakin. Okay, there he is having to do the tight arm rip right there. Okay, but he's popping that shoulder up, allows the trail blocker to be going downhill to contact right there. Okay, and that ends up being the key block on the backside. I know we got a lot better at these, teaching intent of the lead blocker. Your intent, what your job is to go win on the linebacker, okay, and be a very good backhander. Okay, how we doing, Coach?
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Any questions? Yes.
How do you handle, you talked about D-line playing out on zones, playing inside, and then reading. What if you just penetrate straight up the field and plays on the inside half of the...
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say is that's a read to us.
Okay, so
Okay.
you treat that as a punch out.
Yeah, as far as our mechanics go. Now, to me, the big thing on that now is why I've been emphasizing lately, or the last several years now, we are downhill through the target with the lead blocker. Yeah, if we have it happen on the line of scrimmage, we can now bring the punch out, and it's a hell of a deal. Okay, but if I'm not coming off the rock as a lead blocker, that's when you get the deals. Right now we're at different levels. If he was going to punch out, he's going to punch the guy's hip. So that's how I address that. Yeah, Coach.
What's your thought behind tilting the guard stance?
Tilting the guard stance?
Your guards don't seem square.
Oh.
There's thought with different people right now. You're watching Bentley,
Oh.
with the guard initially having a little bit of tilt out.
Yeah, I'm not coaching that. If we saw it, I'd want to be balanced. We're off the ball like everyone has said here. And just so when we get those wider angles, we're going downhill. That's the only reason we're off the ball. Yeah.
Do you do the same thing as Coach about on the backside with the 2-eye? Do you man that as well?
Yep. Exact same thing. I tell them either guy can make that decision. If I've got a 2-eye, okay, the guard might make the decision because of he can't control where that guy's going to play. So it's easier for him to zone it if he can get his shoulder underneath. More than not, if the tackle doesn't have a path to get to the backer, he can call it into a zone. But we start out manning it. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, Coach.
Are you really on the catch and reach? Are you really coaching outside, inside, outside hand first?
We teach like that sled drill, where it teaches the 3 points of contact. I want my forehead with my head back, okay, or my face, another way to say that, my face and the meat of both palms of my hands, okay, to strike at the same time. All I'm doing on a catch and reach is it should be my face and one hand, and now I'm trailing with the second hand. Yeah, so we don't teach like lead with that hand or try and collect with that hand. I want it to come up with some force in there and get him going. Anybody else?
On a backside cutoff, in a perfect world, is the tackle on a 3 technique, is he working all the way around to steal it, or are you trying to get inside and keep on?
I used to teach like it was the old rip reach deal, like when we were going to wheel on it. I've gotten out of it. We're going to try and press downhill through an inside target as much as we can. So to me, but the key point in that is that back shoulder. If that back shoulder is underneath the play side shoulder, it may end up looking like what you're talking about. Okay? And we'll live with that because it stops the guy, keeps him from being able to flow into the play. The other thing is if that shoulder's high, the opposite is true now too. Now he's shoving my ass into the hole. So, but for all intents and purposes, we're trying to think in terms of we want to end vertical push. Really, I always tell the guys it's a little bit of a misnomer, but if you were to take any of our wide zones, okay, let the play run, freeze the tape. If we were in a perfect world, everyone, all 5 guys would be blocking a catch hand reach. Their hat would be on the play side pec, their backhand would be locked, and they'd be pressing right through their target. And that's front side, back side, anyway. If that's our goal, if we could get all 5 guys, it never works out that way, but it's a vision that hopefully helps them visualize what we want to get done. So, we good? Hey, thanks guys. Real honor to be here. Hope you got something.
I just pick one little spot in one of the little blocks or something that will help you, okay, and not give you 400 different things to try to get done. You know what I mean? So I just pick one little thing and say, hey, this will help you in this situation and when you can use it, okay? So this year, now I'm going to turn it over to Jimmy, okay? So I'll speak about 15 minutes maybe, okay? And I'm going to turn it over to Jimmy, and then Jimmy will have it, okay? And then it'll go to George, right? And by that time, we'll be done, about somewhere between 4:15 and 4:30, somewhere around that area there, okay? Is everybody on the same page with that? Everybody get the pizza? I can tell. You can tell it's quiet when you're eating. You know, I just saw one guy carry 3 boxes of pizzas over there. Pizza, it's amazing. I think it was the guy from the University of Chicago. Okay, not a problem. Okay, so here's the topic I picked out. Okay, you're picking up twist, okay, and everybody has their own version how you want to pick up the twist. But I think one of the things that is really overlooked on it is when you snap the penetrator. You heard, I think it was Stacy last night talking about twist. You stop the penetrator, stop the penetrator. Okay, it's more into, I believe, redirecting that guy. Okay, so when do you punch him, when you don't punch him? We only punch guys that come right at us. He comes at you, you punch him, okay? But if he's crossing you or going someplace else, then we kind of just redirect them someplace. We redirect them someplace else, okay? So we want to take the penetrator and redirect them farther than he wants to go, okay? Because he's been told, you need to get into the tackle's near shoulder, you need to get into the gap, you need to get someplace, okay, where you're going to disrupt and you're going to pick somebody, okay? So, what happens here, well, here we go. Can everybody see that picture? Okay, so this is a simple, not that they're any simple, but here you got a TE, okay? So on the TE, right, you got a 3 technique or a wide 3, and he's coming up the dot line, okay? He's coming up and he's going to try to get to that tackled shoulder, okay? And then he's going to try to get into this gap, and if he gets into the B gap clean, okay, then you guess that's when the nightmares start. So when that guy ends into the B gap and he's clean into the B gap, okay, then somebody's going to get picked in here, okay, when the looper starts to come around. Right, so the guy that has the looper is the communicator, so this guard right here doesn't know if that's just a slant 3 technique. He doesn't know that. Okay, so the tackle kind of has to help him out. So we tell him to snap this guy off, redirect him, and if you're wrong, pick him up later. Okay, but the key is the looper for the guard. Okay, so when the guy comes back, we show you how you start it first, okay? This is how we train it. This is Joe Bertoni, this is the left guard. The medicine ball, Brian Braswell. Brian's sitting right over here with Mark Hudson, okay? So you pick up the ball, and he's going to snap the defender. He's going to snap the down guy. So he's snapping him off. But the thing I want to coach, the coaching part I'm trying to make here for you guys, is this inside hip and this foot here. A lot of guys keep it up, okay? A lot of guys try to keep the stagger. No, this foot has to drop a little bit. Okay, you want to keep your hips squared at the line of scrimmage, but you need to drop this leg, this hip, this foot, just a little behind maybe the other foot. Okay, so when the guy comes back around, your hip is not locked. So when your hip is locked and the guy comes around, if I'm the left guard, my hip is locked, and the guy comes around, then what normally happens when the guy goes, now your hands, okay, are leading your feet, and what happens, your hip opens, your foot drops underneath, and your hip opens, and the guy runs to the quarterback, and you can't stop it. Okay? So that little coaching point and how we drill it, okay, he's just going to snap the guy off. Right? Now, see the inside leg? His hips are still square, but that foot is a little bit behind that foot, so he unlocks his hips, so he can move with the defender coming around. Okay? That's a small coaching point, but it'll help you picking up the twists. So we drill it like this. Here's another one. Snap the guy. Here comes the looper. Get back inside. Okay? Here's Austin. Right, snap it. Now he kind of dropped that a little bit too deep, but he still manages to keep his hips kind of relatively square to the line of scrimmage. Okay? So there's some, okay? All right, now, this guy here, there's Joe Thomas. Okay? What a wonderful player, person, probably a better person than he is a player, okay? Right? But he's a hell of a football player, okay? Now, he comes and helps us out, okay? He likes to be around it still, right? He loves the game, okay? So here's a guy, he's snapping it, right, as an ET, so he snaps the guy, right? And then he backs up, he hangs on the ETs, and he's got this foot back, and now his hips are square. So it works on the TEs or the ETs, okay? And then what does it look like in games? Okay, so watch the left guard and the left tackle. Okay, he vertical sets, puts his inside hand up, he knows. Right, now watch the guard. The guard snaps that. See him change that guy's direction? He snaps him. But when he comes back, that leg drops. So he can pick that guy back up. If he keeps that leg up, that guy will cross his face and beat him. Okay? There's another one. Same thing. You're going to snap, change that guy's, see him change his direction? He changed that guy's direction right there. Okay, but the guy comes back inside, so this leg kind of drops a little bit. So he can move back inside when the guy crosses his face. Because if you keep it up, your hip's going to get locked, your hands are going to get ahead of you, and you're going to open up. Okay, watch similar to with the right guy, the Kevin Zeitler, okay? You're going inside, so he snaps him. Now the opposite way, he drops that leg, so that hip is not locked, so when the guy comes back, he can adjust and pick him up. But his hips are squared to the line of scrimmage. Same thing here. Goes inside, snap him, okay, guy comes back, this leg comes back, the hips are square. Same thing with the left side again. DE, redirect the down guy. The looper comes back inside, you drop the inside leg a little bit, but the hips are square, you pick up the looper. That's a little thing, okay, that may mean a big thing without getting yourself picked, okay, picking up the twist. Any questions on any of that? So you saw the drill, you saw the concept, you saw how they did it in the games.
Coach, with the drill, what was the weight of those medicine balls?
They're not heavy, 8 to 10 pounds maybe. They're not heavy, 10 pounds. They're not the 16, 20-pound ones, no. Okay, there's enough so that there's a snap and they can still move instead of, you get it too much weight and then they're juggling it. Okay, any questions?